Have you ever wondered why some women feel instantly attracted to certain men, even when they do absolutely nothing special, and why, with others, it seems that the more effort they put, the more they are ignored or placed in the friendship zone? The truth is uncomfortable but liberating. Desire is not a conscious choice. It happens before any logic or argument has a chance to go into the scene. What if I told you that you can activate this desire almost invisibly, without having to be beautiful, rich, or have ready-made sentences? What you are about to find out in this video can completely change your way of understanding attraction, seduction, and how to build a relationship that really holds a woman emotionally. Most men think they need to impress, conquer, prove value. But what really arouses female interest is below the surface, in the unconscious, where emotions, instincts, and invisible signs dictate the game. Studies of behavioral neuroscience have already shown that female attraction is activated by subconscious factors such as body posture, tone of voice, emotional unpredictability, and perceived value. That is, she may not even understand why she is feeling attracted, but you will feel. You will think of you. It will look for you. You will want your presence without knowing exactly why. This is power, and you can learn to use it. Want a clear example? That feeling of butterflies in the stomach she feels when she's close to a man who doesn't work too hard, but has a magnetic presence. This is no coincidence. This is her brain reacting to subtle stimuli, confident body language, look that transmits safety, and the ability not to care too much about her approval. The problem is that 90% of men do exactly the opposite. To bend, they get anxious, try to please, and deliver all emotional power right away. And that completely turns off her radar. Because female desire does not respond to logic. He responds to perception of value and his ability to be an emotionally free man, difficult to decipher and incredibly safe from himself. In this video, I will show you what really fires the subconscious desire in women and how you can master it simply and practically, without games, without dirty tricks, only with real knowledge, direct from the psychology of attraction. But before revealing you the exact signs that make her emotional radar light up like a siren, I want to ask you something simple but powerful. If you have already been confused, trying to understand what really attracts a woman, or have gone through the frustration of making everything right and yet be ignored, comments here now. I'll change it. This simple gesture is more than a comment. It is a commitment to its own evolution, its masculinity, and its new way of positioning itself in relationships. The truth is that while many continue to repeat the same mistakes, trying to impress with long messages, expensive gifts, or endless flattery, you're here, seeking to understand what really works. This already puts you in front of the majority. But for this kind of content to continue to you, and for us to grow together on this journey, I need your strength. Leave the like in this video now. Subscribe to the channel, because in the next content I will open even more the game about the invisible triggers that arouse desire and real emotional connection. This is the community of men who are not content with crumbs. Men who want to learn how to gain respect, desire, and depth in each interaction with a woman. And if you're here so far, it's because it already makes sense to you. So activates the bell, comments, I'll change that, and come with me find out what most will never know. Because now, yes, let's talk about the 3 silent signs that activate the subconscious radar of female desire and how you can use it to your advantage. Because now, we will get into the point that separates ordinary men from those who really arouse desire, not only physical but emotional, almost automatically. And that begins with the 3 silent signs that activate a woman's subconscious radar. Pay attention to what I will tell you now, because this is where a lot starts to make sense. The first sign is its dominant and relaxed body language. It may seem simple, but this is decisive. Women do not choose to feel attracted to you rationally. They react to what the body says without words. When you enter an environment with erect posture, aligned shoulders, raised head, and calm and firm movements, her brain captures it as a sign of safety, confidence, and value. And that active, deep in her mind, a warning. This guy has something different. And the craziest. This all happens without her realizing consciously. Now imagine the contrario. You come to curved, restless, with lost looks, stirring your cell phone or hands all the time. Her body understands this as a risk. As a man who does not control himself, who seeks approval, and who gives himself too much before being tested. And the result? Zero attraction. It may even be polite, beautiful, intelligent. But if your body does not communicate presence and emotional authority, it will only feel neutrality. And neutrality is the symmetry of seduction. The second sign is the tone of voice and the pauses you make when talking. This is much more important than the words themselves. When you speak at a quiet, firm, and clear, with strategic breaks, you create a climate of unpredictability, of presence. This shows that you are comfortable with silence. And men who are comfortable with silence generate tension. And the tension, my friend, is the fuel of desire. When you speak and then just hold your eyes, take a break, and watch her reaction, you dominate the energy of the conversation. You make her need to interpret you. You become unpredictable, intriguing, magnetic. Do you know when you are with someone who speaks too much, too fast, trying to fill all spaces with words? This communicates insecurity. Now thinks of a guy who instead responds with a few words, looks in her eyes, smiles slightly, and pause. This confuses her brain, activates curiosity, moves the emotions because she's not sure what you're thinking, and it makes her want to find out more. And this leads us to the third sign, the element of mystery and perceived social value. This one is brutal. Most men surrender too fast. It exposes everything about yourself, talks too much, answers everything first. They think that the more they are open and available, the more chances they have. But the female subconscious works differently. She feels more attracted to those she can't read completely. Her mind is pulled to what is not obvious, for what challenges, instigates, provokes. So when you hold your emotions a little, you don't justify yourself, you don't try to explain yourself. When you show that you are not there desperate for attention, it feels value. It's like that classic scene. You look at her, hold her eyes for 2 seconds, sketch an enigmatic smile and look away, as if she were just one in the environment. At that moment, without a word, you activated her emotional radar. She will think of you later. You will try to understand what you meant by that look. We'll look for signs, because you have become a mystery that she needs to decipher. And believe me, the desire is born exactly there. These 3 signs, when combined, have the power to put you in the center of her emotional attention without having to force anything at all. You become felt and not just seen. And the more subtle and natural this is, the more intense the impact. But I want to know about you now. Among these 3 signs, which do you think you have the most difficulty applying in everyday life? Write here in the comments, body language, voice and pauses, or mystery. Choose what you want most to master and tell me. And if this content has already opened your eyes, strengthens with a like, subscribes to the channel and activates the bell, because in the next part I will show you how these signs turn into deep emotional connection, where the game is no longer just attraction and becomes real attachment. And when you understand how these silent signs mess with the female subconscious, you start to realize that the game has never been about talking beautiful or showing how cool you are. Because women don't fall in love with cool guys. They fall in love with those who make them feel unique, seen, understood, without even knowing why. And that's exactly where I come in, what I call the emotional mirror technique. One of the most powerful but subtle strategies to create an instant connection with any woman. This technique has nothing to do with repeating words or imitating gestures, as many confuse it. Mirroring emotionally is entering her inner world, accessing the way she feels, thinks, reacts, and returning it smoothly, mirrored, validated. When you reflect her emotional language, you send a direct signal to the emotional brain saying, "I understand you, and it's safe to be here." This creates an invisible but intensely real bridge between you. It is not manipulation. It is high-level emotional intelligence applied to seduction. For example, if she is telling a story and you realize that she speaks more involved, enthusiastically, and smiles, her tone also goes slightly. Her body language follows this rhythm. Her gaze intensifies naturally. This creates emotional sync, and her subconscious reads this as an affinity, connection, shared desire. Now, if she's talking about something more sensitive, more introspective, you download the rhythm, decreases speech speed, slightly lean, and most importantly, demonstrates real attention. And do you know how this deepens even more? With open questions that make her access positive memories, memories that connect her with specific emotions. Questions such as, when was the last time you felt really alive, doing something just for you? Or, if you could repeat a moment of your life just to feel it all over again, what would it be? This kind of question has nothing to do with logic or facts. It has to do with emotion, depth, sensation. When she responds, you look at the details, the brightness in the look, the gestures, the tone, and you keep guiding the conversation based on what she feels, not what she says, literally. This type of connection activates areas of the female brain responsible for empathy, confidence, and emotional excitement. She feels that you understand it in a way that others do not understand. You are not trying to impress, prove something, or drive the conversation with ego. You are showing, without saying, that you are present, connected, and attentive to the invisible signs. This is where true power is born. Because while the other guys keep trying to draw attention with generic compliments or stories about themselves, you go straight into her emotional heart. And that changes everything. The emotional mirror technique transforms you into someone she feels has something different, someone she can't ignore, because you are not trying to force connection. You are the connection. And the best? She feels it alone without you having to explain. Desire begins to mix with curiosity, comfortable, with that desire to have you around, not understanding exactly why, but you understand, because now you know what you're doing. So now I want you to tell me here in the comments, have you tried to create this kind of emotional connection with someone? Have you noticed when the conversation flowed in a way that it seemed that you had known each other for years? Write down here, emotional mirror, if it makes sense to you. Or comments, I want to learn to create true connection, if you are committed to mastering it in your relationships. It helps me understand that you are here for something bigger and motivates me to bring even more deep content like this. If you haven't left your like yet, now it's the time. And you subscribe to the channel, activate the bell, because in the next part, we will explore how to transform this desire and this emotional connection into a relationship that holds, grows, and addicts, without you losing your personal value in the process. And I promise this will surprise you.